Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. And I have red hair today. I don't have red hair. I've been tinkering with the lighting and I don't have it right yet. I'll figure it out eventually. Hopefully next week. I apologize. I'm not a redhead. I've been married to redheads, but I am not a redhead. So yeah, this is it's been 30 days. 4 weeks. So 20 shows. There were a couple of them that were broke up, so maybe 20, 22. I glanced at my analytics again today. I saw that I've got 105 views in the first 30 days. Hey, it's a start. That's a beginning. Okay. We can build off of that. It's going to take a while. Everything is progressing. We're moving forward. Okay. Don't get stressed out by it. I'm not. 30 days in, 105 different people have seen this. It's a beginning. Hopefully, in the next 30 days, YouTube will sort us out and determine who they got to put us in front of in order to get us viewers. I'm not going to sweat it. It'll all come out in the end. So quite a bit going on, but not much happening here. It's relatively quiet here. I'm in Michigan. It's the heartland of America. It's the center of the universe, right? Southwestern Michigan. I like it. I'm excited about Monday Night Football this week coming up. That's what I was just watching before I started this stream, was the game preview. Detroit Lions are going to be in Baltimore. Baltimore, it's an okay city. I don't recommend their county jail. I think it's Anne Arundel County Jail. I just paid him a weekend visit many, many decades ago. I would not recommend that to anyone. It's, well, I was drinking in those days. I had substance abuse issues. They were worse than the issues I have nowadays, I guess. I don't know how else to explain that. Hopefully, I'll never backslide on those. Okay, hopefully. But yeah, this is a milestone. The first 30 days online. It's been good. We worked through our mechanical issues and basically laid the foundation for a show. Those of you that have been watching probably know a lot more about me than you need to, considering I don't want to be the star of the show. I want to be part of the background. I would prefer people to get into the chat and they be the star of the show. But until that happens, all we got is me. Afternoon chat is on YouTube only. I don't put it on any other platforms. It's Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, in order to chat, you need to use a phone, a tablet, or a computer and go to YouTube, download their Discord app, and then you're free to jump into the chat. There's no charge. You can basically say anything you want about anything you want. The only disclaimer I'll add to that is I'll say, please stay within the community guidelines that YouTube has set up for us. Let's stay within their guidelines. That way we don't get into any hot water with YouTube. And you should be able to talk about anything that you want to talk about in here. I want this to be an inclusive room, not an exclusive room. I mean, let's let everybody in. I don't care where they're from. I don't care what they do. No age restrictions, no gender restrictions. Come in and talk about anything that is on your mind. I know I smoke cigarettes, too many of them. The last time I checked, I'm smoking about 3 of them an hour. So about 1 every 20 minutes. I keep on top of my health. That's why I'm drinking Gatorade every afternoon during this show, evidently. Well, my doctor said I needed more electrolytes, so I'm getting electrolytes. For some reason, I keep buying the fruit punch. I don't know why I don't check out any other flavors, but oh well. When I was younger, I used to drink a lot of other different flavors. Seemed like citrus cooler used to be my favorite, but beats me. I can't figure myself out. Well, you guys should feel free to figure me out. Tell me what I need to do to straighten my act up. So this show is going to be basically run by the chat once the chat populates it. Nothing is really etched in stone as far as hours or that kind of stuff. Whatever the chat wants, I'm willing to, make adjustments. As long as it doesn't interfere with me watching my football, I'm good. I don't have a makeup artist or a production staff. This is just one guy sitting on his couch. Okay. That's it. I used to chat back in the day, and my life got busy, and I no longer had the time to chat. Now my life is slowed down, and I go back and look for those chat rooms, and they're not there. They're gone. So I've created one. Basically, I'm inviting the world into my living room to have a conversation. I would appreciate it if you'd conduct yourself accordingly, but it's not required. I'm not selling you anything. There's no sponsors, no mid-roll ads, no, I'm not coming out with a line of merch. Okay. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Not trying to sell you a thing. I do need to achieve some levels that YouTube is set up. I need likes, subscriptions, and views, all of which are free. They don't cost you a dime. I believe I need 1,000 subscribers, of which I have 6. It's a start. Okay. I wonder, can I subscribe to my own channel? Maybe I already do. I don't know. But I wonder if I could like my own channel. Probably not. But we'll see. But I believe I also need like 4,000 viewing hours or something like that. I think I have to achieve these goals that YouTube has set up in order for them to notice my show or something. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys know and you guys can tell me, educate me on this stuff, because I'm not interested in looking it up, to be honest with you. I was in looking at the analytics briefly. I didn't break them down. I looked at the channel's analytics, not the individual videos. Just with a cursory glance, it looks like the shorter videos get more views, which probably makes sense. People are probably just trying to figure out, what the heck's this dude doing? None of us really know for sure, do we? I go by the name Ghost mostly. It's an alias that I used to use when I was writing song lyrics. I was ghost writing. I didn't want the band to put my name on anything or to owe me anything. So I was ghost writing, and I came up with the name Ghost mostly at that point. When I came into this project, I took the same alias and I rolled it forward. And that's how I came up with Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. It's just a placeholder. I will try my very best not to ever lie to you. I really don't care for liars myself, so that's not really my cup of tea. No, I got some serious lighting issues, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna fix them. It looks like I need to spend money. Just a cursory glance, having had lighting issues for 30 days now, it feels like, yeah, I should just go out and buy some diffuse lighting and set it up in here. The issue is, this isn't a studio. This is my living room. Okay, so yeah, I'm hesitant to go and get a bunch of lighting and set it up in my. Do I really want to live with that 7 days a week? I suppose I could go out and rent a studio and whatnot, but all that would do is increase my overhead and make me feel a need to put commercials in here to make me want to sponsor, right? The way it is now, my overhead on this channel is $13.99 a month. And, I don't see any reason to increase that overhead. It would make no business sense to me. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with Ghost Mostly Media. I created the entity, but I'm not really sure what I want to do, what all I want to put on. I'm hoping that the chat populates and makes suggestions over time, and then I can determine, well, these people say they want that. Let me try and give them what they want. We'll see how it goes. When I made the decision, I guess, to go forward with this project, I made a commitment to myself only that I would do this for a minimum of 3 years. We're 30 days in out of 3 years. So, it is what it is. Things will improve. People will get into the chat. I actually found a new button on my YouTube, and so I clicked it in today. We'll see if that makes a difference. I'm thinking, well, maybe YouTube offered me this to help me out, and if I ignore it, maybe I'm going against the grain in some way. But they offered me a new box to check, so I checked it. We'll see what happens. Okay. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of feeling my way through this. Most of my adult life, I was a table games dealer in Vegas. I started out as a dealer, and 33 years later, I ended up a casino shift manager. I dealt all the table games. Be honest with you, I consider myself to be quite knowledgeable in the field, but I'm retired now. So I'm sure the industry is moving on without me. I don't think it stopped just because I stopped showing up for work. We'll see. I don't know what people want to talk to me about. We'll find out. Eventually, there's going to be people in the chat. I am not like stacking the chat. I'm not telling my friends and family, oh, you got to get in here and help me start my show, and let's have all these pretend conversation. I'm not doing that. The chat will populate all on its own right through YouTube. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. Their algorithm will analyze what we're doing on the show, and eventually they'll put us in front of the people that need to see us. I don't know. I don't want to. How can I explain this? Every time I find a chat room, they've got a specific topic to talk about. I go to my sports channels and they want to talk sports. I go to my entertainment channels. They want to talk about movie stars and TV personalities and this. Or I go to a political news channel and they want to talk about politics. They've all got a set subject. I don't want to do that with this chat room. I don't care what we talk about. You want to talk about baking cookies? Okay. You want to talk about planting rhubarb? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, right? What I don't want is I don't want it to be the same subject every day, right? And that's why I didn't film a bunch of shorts and put them out there to get in the public eye. I didn't want to put a thumb on the scale and weigh the show one way or another. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You might get tired of what's on my mind. You might get tired of listening about the things that I'm thinking about. Over the events of the last couple of weeks, specifically speaking of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, that's been on my mind. Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel both being kicked off the air, that's on my mind. Just between the two topics there, that, well, you got issues with the First Amendment and of our Constitution, and you got issues with the Second Amendment of our Constitution. Both are a double-edged sword. I can see a perspective from both sides of both issues. If CBS or ABC want to cancel a comedian's show due to lack of ratings or even internal squabbles, I got no problem with that. As far as our government, our federal government, applying pressure on a business to censor or delete someone's livelihood, I got real issues with that. The government does not have a right to tell anybody that they can't be speaking what's on their mind. That's in our Constitution. That is a violation of our First Amendment. That is illegal, plain and simple. The government does not have the right to tell us what to do. Okay? They can't censor our speech. And on the Second Amendment, I believe in our right to own firearms. When I was younger, I was an avid hunter. I liked shooting. It was very fun. Major part of my life when I was in my youth. I lost interest in shooting when my vision needed correction. When my vision started to fade, I was no longer an expert marksman. That took a lot of the fun out. I don't want to be average, okay? So I lost interest in hunting. I lost interest in shooting. So, but our Second Amendment doesn't give any of us a right to point a weapon at someone, doesn't give any of us a right to shoot someone, ever. Right? I got some real issues with people going out and assassinating people. What a coward. 200 yards away, gonna line somebody up in your scope. You don't have a legal right to do that. That's illegal. All right. I could harp on both of these topics for the entire 2 hours. I need somebody to get in the chat and tell me, hey, talk about something else, Ghost. I feel real strong about both issues. If Jimmy Kimmel goes out and gets himself fired, that's his business. But if our government is forcing a corporation to eliminate him, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Okay. My personal opinion is all I can offer. That's, one guy sitting on one end of his couch. And, I'm not an influencer. Okay. I'm never going to be an influencer. I'm not running for political office, and I'm not trying to get you to donate money, or I'm not trying to manipulate you in any one way or one direction or another. I'm just simply voicing my opinion. I would invite you into the chat to voice yours. You type it in, I'll read it, and we can discuss it. Okay. I can't help but get fired up as an American when I see our rights getting trampled on. When our constitutional rights get trampled on, it destroys lives. It affects lives in our country, and I dislike that. Our government does not have a right to tell us what to do. The way I close each show is going to be 5 minutes on, hey, let's live and let live. Okay. Don't tell someone else how to live. Leave people alone. I can't, I just can't stomach this when people are harping on each other about, oh, your religion is not as good as mine. Oh, your race is not as good as mine. Your country is not as good as mine. Leave people alone. I do it all the time. I'm not walking down the street telling people how to live. I think that that kind of an attitude is going to find you nothing but confrontation, especially in this country. Okay. Try to tell somebody what they can and can't do. It's not your job, man. Back off. Let people live the way they want to live. It's like in America, you can live where you want to live. If I want to move to Montana, what business is it of yours? So leave me alone about it. Okay? Personal opinion. That's all I can give you is what I see from my perspective here on my end of this couch. Okay. I would love to hear your perspective. I'm not sure. You'd have to have a top of the line TV with all the latest bells and whistles, I think, to be able to just chat from your TV screen. I'm not sure it's even possible. When I chat, I always use my laptop. I like the bigger font size, the bigger screen. I understand most people like to function on their phone, but as you can see, I have to add my glasses. So I'd have to wear my glasses and then be buried in my phone. That's not for me. I'd rather look at the larger screen on my laptop, or even some type of a tablet or something like that. As far as I know, the Discord app from YouTube is free. But I downloaded it at the same time that I signed up for YouTube Premium. So I'm not sure. I can't 100% say that Discord app is free, but I'm assuming it is. Why would they, be trying to charge money for a chat app? Doesn't make sense. Oh, I think we've had a total of 3 chatters in here in the last 30 days. We had 105 views. We had 3 people in the chat, and I think we've got 39.1 viewing hours, something like that. All of these will progress. They will all continue. We'll get to where we're supposed to be eventually. Okay. I prefer the position of the optimist. Things are going to do what they're supposed to do. Everything will work out in the long run. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else I should be doing, or if you have an idea of something I should be doing different, let me know. I'm not sure whether the comments are turned on or off or whatever. Maybe this weekend I'll sit down and take a look at it. I'll have time. My Lions don't play till Monday night, so I'll dink around and see what I can find out. It's not a big deal. Now I might go in and look at that Patreon page or whatever also and activate that this weekend. I'm not like a real detail type of guy. I'm a rounded off type of guy. So for me to go back and go through and dot every I and cross every T, I have to motivate myself to do that. I probably have to smoke a bowl. Marijuana, pot. And I'm not recommending anyone smoke pot or cigarettes. It's legal where I live. I can tell you that. Okay. I'm not breaking any laws. And I would never recommend that anyone pick up any of my bad habits, no matter what they are. I had what do you call or what I call an addictive personality. And, I started drinking at a young age. I started drinking when I was, 15, 16, something like that. And I became a blackout drunk. And at one point, I just realized this isn't for me. This isn't the kind of life that I want to lead. This isn't the type of hangover I want to feel. So I didn't successfully put the bottle down until I was like, I'd say mid to late 30s. It took a while. Well, all of my friends that I hung out with, we all went to bars. I rarely go to a bar nowadays. Rarely. I think I might have been in 2 bars in the last 3 or 4 years. Okay. Yeah. I don't put myself in that type of environment. I don't consider myself an alcoholic. Today's Friday. I'll probably have a beer tonight. Probably. I think I have 3 of them left in the fridge. On Friday nights, I like to watch a guy named Tom Grassi. He does a Q&A. It's close to an open chat room on Friday nights because he's not broadcasting game. But, it's generally going to be around, football or sports in general, or even wrestling as a topic, right? I don't know. I heard that in last night's game, his audience was determining him to be pregnant. So I'm going to tune in tonight and get the scoop. I don't think the man's pregnant. Okay, I don't even think his girlfriend's pregnant. So we'll see. We'll find out what's going on with that, or at least I'll find out what's going on with that tonight. But generally, he'll in his podcast he'll have a beer or two, and sometimes I join him. I have a beer with him. He does not know I exist. Okay, we're not friends or I'm just a fan. I ideally in the Lions-Packer game. I watched Mike Kimber, a Lions broadcaster. I watched him for the first half. The Lions get a big lead. Then I switch over to Tom Grassi, who is a Packer fan, and I watch him cry for the last half of the game. Okay. It's just personal preference, right? But Tom Grassi is a Green Bay Packers broadcaster, and Mike Kimber is the Lions broadcaster. And I bounce in between the two. Well, I prefer them because they don't do the commercials, right? Football, if you watch football on television, it is, I think, more commercials than it is football. Okay. They seem to have this hang up, every change of possession. Oh, we got to have a commercial or 5, Yeah, I can't stand the commercials. That's why most of my viewing is on YouTube, because I don't want to watch the commercials. I prefer to stream something commercial free. I watched last night's game, the Thursday Night Football on Prime, and there was way too many commercials. It drives me up a wall. Yeah. That's why I don't have any commercials in this show. I ain't selling nobody nothing. Okay? Ain't gonna happen. I understand how the world makes money, and I'm semi-retired. I'm not here for the money. Okay? I'm actually here for the conversation with the people in the chat. Until we get people in the chat, all we're stuck with is me sitting here talking to my laptop. I like I like to watch Lions football, right? I don't watch that many other games. I really don't. And I don't these shows that I watch, I don't well, with Mike Kimber once in a while I'll chat, but not really with Tom Grassi. I don't, I'm just a fan. I'm just watching it on TV. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be in their show. And when I chat, it comes across Ghost Mostly Media LLC. And I kind of feel like it's an invasion of their space. When I chat and it scrolls up the screen, it's like I'm advertising my company on their show, and that's not my goal either. I chat more with Mike Kimber because I identify with him more. He's in Southwest Michigan. I'm in Southwest Michigan, right? He's got kids. I got kids. I can identify with him on many levels. Okay. So I feel a connection with him. So I might interact with him a little bit. But for the most part, I'm just a fan watching on TV. I did do a chat today on TMZ Live. I chatted one chat today. They had a contest, and I made an entry, and I did not win. Go figure. Gosh, how's that even possible? But that's for entertainment entertainment purposes only, I guess. But I'm just a fan. I watch TMZ because on their live broadcast, it shows all the chaos that's going on in their newsroom. And I find that entertaining. I don't have other chaos in my life. My life is very quiet. I'm not on the go. I'm not busy. I tell people quite openly that I got one speed. I call it if and when. If I get there or when I get there, I'll be where I'm supposed to be right on time. I don't like to make a bunch of appointments, and I don't like to feel pressured. Oh, I got to drive across town. I got 30 minutes to get where I need to be. I don't need deadlines. I don't need, that kind of a structure. I have a very laid back life. Now, I used to be busy all the time. I think that's why I'm so laid back now. When I lived in Vegas, I was always on the go. I tried to, work and play every day, something. I was always doing something. If I wasn't going to a show, I was golfing. If I wasn't golfing, I was going and having a drink, or going out to dinner here or there, or going to see plays or concerts, or something. I always fit. Well, I used to try to fit 30 hours worth of stuff in one 24-hour day. And generally, I sacrifice my sleep. I was surviving on 4 or 5 hours a night, at best. And I'm the exact opposite. Last night, I slept for 8 hours. I got up, I had coffee and toast, and 2 hours later, I was back in bed for another hour and a half. I went back and took a nap. Because I can. I'm not busy. I understand those of you that are playing that hectic lifestyle. I understand completely. But that's not me nowadays. Now, after the show today, I will go for a walk because I've been sitting for 2 hours. So I'll get outside, I'll go for a walk in the park, and then I'll come back home and I'll make my dinner. Then I'll probably rewatch the show and critique my performance. I mean, look, I got red hair today. I got to change something next week. It can't be like this, right? I don't have red hair; it's brown. So I'll look through. I'm looking at everything. How many how many times I curse. I want to present a show with like a G rating available for everybody, where nobody gets offended by my language. If the chat ends up taking us more to an R rating type of deal, so be it. The chat is going to be the star of this show. It's not going to be me. I'm going to drift into the background, and what you people get in here and say and discuss, that's going to be the main focus of this show. I'm going to try to keep everybody within YouTube's community guidelines. I'm going to try to be protective of the people that are in the chat. If you need to say something disparaging or you need to lash out at me. Leave the people in the chat alone. Okay? That's why I'm here. This is a hosted chat room. But I don't want to be famous. That's why I'm using an alias. Okay? I'm not running for political office. I'm not trying to manipulate the masses. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I will be the moderator. I'll be busy kicking out the bots once the chat room is established, once it's populated. I don't have any other moderators. I'll have to do all that stuff by myself. And, it'll be on the job training for me because I have never moderated a chat room before. So, should be interesting as heck. You should hang out and watch. It could be funny. Well, you never know. I could screw it up. I could moderate myself right out of a job. Who knows? No, I think that things will work out the way they're supposed to. We'll get to where we need to be to have a good chat room, to have a good show, to build a good community, right? Well, it's my firm belief that there are more good people in this world than there are bad. You don't realize it because our media is controlled by the large corporations in this country. And they only put on there what they want us to see. They hide the stuff that they don't want us to see. They don't air that at all. My mustache itches. Does that mean I'm coming into money? I don't think so. No, it'll all work out. We'll build a nice community, and you'll find out how nice the people really are. I know you can't turn on ABC, NBC, and CBS and see that. But there are so many good people. I know I stood and I met him and I talked to him for 30 plus years in Vegas. People from all over the world, from every walk of life. I saw it all. And I'm telling you, the good people outnumber the bad people by a lot. I'm telling you, it's like 10 to 1. It's ridiculous. There's so many good people. But you can't see that because they can't sell that advertising, right? The corporate media is a corporation first, okay? They're not showing you all the good things that happened in your community. You're lucky if they show you any of the good things at all. If they do, they're probably just mentioning them in passing. They're not giving you the in-depth details. I know that you really have to piece together your news consumption or it brainwashes you. I'm dealing with that with my father right now. My father does not stream. All right. He's a very old fashioned man. He's 87. He was a factory worker, a darn good factory worker, but a factory worker. And he comes home and he watches CBS or ABC or NBC. And that's his whole world. He knows nothing else except that. He doesn't see the rest. It's almost like tunnel vision. And it's not an enlightened perspective by any shape or means. And I'm not trying to diss my father. I'm just trying to tell you that, I'm trying to explain to him what's going on in the world. He doesn't even have a smartphone. Okay. He's intimidated by the technology. And he feels it's a distraction because it had nothing to do with his real life while he lived it. Right? Well, when did computers come in? In the 80s? He was on the job in the factory. He held 4 journeyman's cards. If it didn't have to do with the metallurgy that he was dealing with at work, or it didn't have to do with raising kids at home, it wasn't a part of his life. So while I was out at Radio Shack buying computers and building computers and trying to learn what was going on, he was on the job doing his thing. So now when I meet with him frequently, I'm trying to enlighten him. I tell him about the wars going on across the globe and what these people are doing to one another. He doesn't understand that the technology has changed war, and it's not the way it was when he was growing up. A tank is not the badass on the battlefield anymore. It's all done by air power now. Planes that don't show up on your radar. Drones, right? they're only 300 feet off the ground. He doesn't know that. When he thinks of war, it's World War II, right? Or maybe Vietnam, jungle fighting. He doesn't understand that technology has bypassed those levels. I watch a show called The Enforcer. It's a couple of young guys in Alabama, brothers, I believe. They glean all of social media and they put up, excuse me, they put up video evidence. You see the drone flying in and hitting the fuel truck, or you see the drone chasing down the lone soldier, right? It's right there for you to see. And it's the real truth. It's not shaded by corporate interest, right? A corporation that's making its money off of making tanks isn't going to show you how a road full of tanks are getting picked apart by little $250 drones. They're not going to show you that multi-million-dollar tank is just being laid to waste. The corporations are censoring what you get to see in your local news. Like they're just not putting it out there. The biggest one that jumps to mind is the war in Gaza, right? You're not seeing the war in Gaza. They're not putting it on the local news. Why? Because the corporations don't want you to see it. They have no interest in showing you the real truth of what's going on in that war. What they do feed you is a line, a narrative, right? And if all you intake is that narrative, you don't know the real truth. That's where my father is. His intake is limited, so he doesn't know the whole story. So I try to teach him the whole story. I try to show him. I try to explain it to him. I try to enlighten him as much as I can. I don't try to control him. I don't try to judge him. Okay. I do try to educate him. It's pretty dastardly. My generation, what we have for corporate news in America, my generation would call Pravda. This is what the Soviets used to do back in the day. They controlled the news media, and you're only allowed to say what we tell you to say, right? That's not what news in America should be. News in America should be, here's the truth. Okay? Should be. Well, number one, American news isn't owned by Americans anymore. Okay? It's not. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. He's an Australian. Okay? And he's not giving you the full picture. He's giving you a narrative. He's feeding you the conservative line, right? That's not the whole news. The whole news, You can, you can go to other news outlets and you can piece it together via the Enforcer Channel, Underground News. Just looking at a foreign news agency, what are they saying about America? What are they telling you? You look at it from as many perspectives, different perspectives as you can find. Like if you're going to watch Fox News, you should also watch MSNBC. Balance them out because the truth is somewhere in the middle. One of those is representing those on the left. One of those is the narrative from the right. The truth is somewhere in the center. And it's up to you to have a discerning mind and to be able to sort this out. You've got to get down in the weeds and say, no, that's propaganda. You're giving me opinion. You're not giving me fact. Facts and figures do not lie. People do. People lie. Right? The facts and figures don't lie. One of the things that's going on in this country is they're trying to censor our history. They think our history, our nation's history, shows us in a bad light. It should. We did some bad things as a nation. Okay. The truth is, put us out there and you'll see we've made mistakes, right? Go look at Mount Rushmore and tell me how many of those guys were actual slave owners. They're trying to glean history. They don't want you to know that, right? It's like in American history, they want to teach you that Christopher Columbus was a great man who discovered America. But that's not the whole picture on Christopher Columbus. The whole picture, the reality is Christopher Columbus was a homicidal maniac. He committed genocide. The island that he landed his ship on, he went in and killed people. They're trying to whitewash history for us here in America. They want to take out some of the bad. They want you to think, oh, we're the best that's ever been, when we're not. We could have been better. Our forefathers made some mistakes. Some of them were downright ugly, heinous. That doesn't make us a bad country. It makes us human. We're human beings. We're flawed individuals. We make mistakes. But you learn from your mistakes and you move forward, right? Some of these same people that are trying to glean history and pick and choose which side of the story that they're telling us, it's all absurd. Makes no sense. They should tell us the whole truth and keep their opinions to themselves. The biggest deterrent for slavery is for people to know about slavery. for people to know the truth about slavery. That's the biggest deterrent of slavery, is tell the people the truth. It was heinous, right? They think if they whitewash it and they, take all that out of that museum, they think that they're bettering America somehow. Well, what was that saying? The road to hell was paved by good intentions. Something like that, you know? Yeah. These people think they're doing good, right? They don't understand that they're just making another colossal mistake. It'll all get sorted out over time. What happens is every 4 or 8 years we get a new president, and he tears down what he didn't like that the last one did and starts what he wants, right? So all the crimes that are being committed by this regime, we will try to correct with the next regime. Doesn't mean we'll succeed in every instance. It doesn't mean that we're going to fail. It means that these things will change. It's like these Epstein files that they're hiding from us now. They think they're doing a good job of hiding them. They're wrong. It'll all come out in the wash. The next president will start the investigations all over again, reconstitute everything that they've destroyed, and it'll all come out in the wash eventually. We'll learn the truth eventually. Some of these people think they're doing the right thing, and they're making mistakes. There are double edges to all these swords, right? When you slash with one side and then pull it back, the other side can slash you, right? That's the metaphor I guess I'm trying to use here. Like, our First Amendment. A person looks at the First Amendment and says, I have freedom of speech. That means I can call you a jerk. You're right, it does. But there's a flip side to that sword. That means you can call me a jerk. And I have to have the thick skin to take it. If I'm dishing it out, I got to be able to take it coming back, right? It cuts both ways, right? They think they're only looking at the one side. They think I have the right to call you a jerk. But when you turn around and call them a jerk, they get offended. Oh, how dare you? I'm the good guy. We all think we're the good guy, okay? We all think we're the good guy. My perspective does not include your perspective automatically. What I see is not what you see. I need you to tell me what you see, and I can tell you what I see, and we can educate each other. As we educate each other, we learn together. This is part of maturing as an adult. And this is part of learning. It's sad that some of these people lose their perspective on this stuff and they can only see with tunnel vision. If you open up your vision and you allow more data in, right, you can learn. I have opinions, and some of them could be wrong. Go figure. Why could they be wrong? Because I'm not educated enough. I haven't seen it from your perspective yet. But I have opened up a chat room so you can give me your perspective. You can tell me what you see. You can explain it to me. When we communicate, we educate. Plain and simple. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a conversation. Get in here and talk to me. Tell me your perspective. Let's have a mature, respectful conversation. Respect means a lot. Learning how to communicate means a lot. How do you know if you're communicating properly? How do you know if people are understanding you? It's one of the things I found out when I was teaching the game of craps to other people, both playing and dealing. Game of craps is somewhat complex. There's a heck of a lot of math involved, yes, but there are other things that are involved too. It's like the courtesies that you afford other players. If a shooter comes out on a point that must be repeated in order for us to win, and we all put our money out there, and Johnny Doe shoots the dice, and I'm at the other end of the table, and I stick my hand out in the way, and the dice hit my hand and roll on the 7, and we all lose our money because of it, because my hand was out there where it should not have been, when it should not have been there. Right? That's one thing. We've got to be able to work together in order for those dice to hit the table instead of my hand. Right? Same token, I'm teaching someone how to do the math on the game. Right? And I'm teaching them when this number hits and you go to pay this, it pays 7 to 6. Whereas if this number hits, it pays 7 to 5. And if this third number should hit, it pays 9 to 5. They can get lost in that. And if I can't get them to learn, if I can't change or adjust the way that I'm teaching, they're never going to learn it. I have to try to teach them the same thing 5 different, 10 different ways until they understand, right? It's the exact same thing as what I'm talking about, is your perspective. Your perspective determines your understanding, right? I can't, to go back to my father, I can't just walk up to my father and say, no, you're wrong. I need to explain to him why he's wrong. I need to explain to him in a broad sense so that he can understand that he's wrong. Oh, right. But it's all from communication. That's how we all learn. It's by talking to one another. Thus, I've created a channel, and I've plugged it in so that it's become reliable. It's becoming stable. You can rely on this show to be here Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be here. You can come in here and you can speak your mind. You can state your case. You type it in, I will read it. We can discuss it. We can communicate. We can all learn from our communication. It's not anything to be ashamed of to not know. You might want to be ashamed if you don't want to know. Okay. But if you don't know, it's not your fault. Nobody knows this channel is here yet. They're going to know. I'm going to give them 3 years to find out. Okay. Excuse me. Man, I'm coughing a lot today. Some days I sit here and I count the number of times that I coughed on the show, or I'll count the number of times that I yawned, or, whatever. Right now, the number one thing that bothers me is the glare in my glasses and the fact that it looks like I have red hair. The glasses don't have a glare when I look through them. It's when I look at the reflection in the camera, right? Well, I got to wear the glasses in order to see the chat. Okay. And my hair's really not red, I swear. Well, we could start an ugly internet rumor. We could say that the red from the fruit punch Gatorade is making my hair turn red. I can see proof. Right? Hey, it's as real as we all make it. If everybody says my hair's red, it's red, gall darn it. It just looks red in this light. I don't know. I was thinking, that I was going to have a lot less glare on one side than I did on the other. And, I made an adjustment in my lighting and I adjusted it wrong. I can clearly see that now. Maybe this weekend I'll work on my lighting and see if I can't correct what's going on. I'm thinking that, I'll get it sorted out eventually. Well, probably my main problem with it right now is I only make the adjustment once a day. What I probably need to do is like a private stream and then adjust the lighting 16 different times until I get something that I'm comfortable with. I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. Is there a rush? When there's no one in the chat room, I'm not feeling pressured. Let me tell you. I'll look at the views later and I'll see, wow, how many people saw me with red hair? Did I really have the red hair? Was I even really here today? Or is this just a ghost? You never know, right? No, I am not AI. Okay. I could have put AI in here. I could have just put up an avatar and done the voice for it myself. I decided to show you the real me. Well, I recommend that, everybody that goes online that they use an alias. I don't recommend anyone expose themselves. Uh, you must protect your privacy. If you don't protect your privacy, who will? You know. I understand what I'm doing is different, but I think that for me, putting myself in the middle of things is kind of what I did most of my life. Working in Vegas in the table games industry, the player was losing money or the house was losing money, and I was standing right in between, getting blamed by both sides. I think that gives me the ability to be thick skinned because I've had all that training. Who knows? I don't think you guys are going to crush my self esteem. I really don't. But, you never know. You could hurt my feelings a lot next month. But, to me, it's just, I think I can handle this. I wouldn't recommend it for somebody that is going to be a snowflake, going to be sensitive, because people, it is normal human nature for people to lash out. It People lash out because they get scared. It's normal human nature. I don't feel a need to lash out at individuals. I might feel a need to lash out at policies or corporations or something in a generic sense. But I don't hate any one individual. I disagree vehemently with Donald Trump, but I don't hate the man. I don't think he's evil. I think he's got a lot of faults, but we all have faults. I mean, look at me. I'm sitting here smoking. That's a fault, right? In many people's eyes, they consider that to be a fault. Many people won't want to watch this show because I'm smoking. You know, it is what it is. All people have faults. None of us are perfect. If we were perfect, we would not be called people. We would be called a God, right? It's pretty simple. I don't hate other human beings because I don't fear other human beings. I dislike human beings, some of them. I distrust some human beings, but I don't hate them. To me, from my perspective, I think if you mix uncontrolled fear with dislike, it's going to equal hate. I look at this as a mathematical equation, right? 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? Dislike plus uncontrolled fear equals hate. That's the way I see it. That's my perspective, my opinion. Please come in the chat room and tell me yours. I would love to hear it. I believe that hatred is uncontrolled fear. And I don't hate anyone. And I don't think hate is healthy. I don't think uncontrolled fear is healthy. If you're pro fear, that makes no sense. I'm not trying to intimidate anybody. I'm not trying to make anyone fear me. Okay. That's that goes back to the old Second Amendment. You have a right to own and bear arms, but you don't have a right to intimidate people. You don't have a right to make them cower in fear. You don't have a right to point a gun at anybody, and you don't have a right to shoot anybody. You say, oh, in self-defense, you're grasping at straws. I'm talking about a generalization here, right? If you're thinking about shooting another human being, you're wrong. You might need some counseling, okay? Unless you're a soldier on the battlefield where it's required. There's always going to be an unless. There's always going to be a but. You can get in the weeds all you want. But as a basic rule of thumb, if you're lining up a human being in your crosshairs or your scope, you're wrong. You're an idiot. All right? Not a safe guy. I would not be hunting alongside you. Okay? If you're walking through the woods and your gun's off safety, you wouldn't be hunting next to me. No way, no. If you're drunk walking through the woods with a shotgun in your arms, you won't be hunting next to me. All right. That's, well, I wouldn't hunt with anyone that wasn't a good shot, period. Right? If you don't practice gun safety, why would I hang out with you while you have a gun? That's just ridiculous. That'd be like getting in a canoe with a guy that didn't have a sense of balance, right? It's just a matter of time before it goes wrong. You're going to end up in the lake, okay? Some fear, right, keeps us safe, but uncontrolled fear, that's what makes us hate. If you don't have your fear under control, you're going to hate people. Hate and anger, they don't solve anything. They don't build anything. Okay? You need fear to keep from stepping off the 200-foot cliff, right? But you can't let that fear control you to the point where you never get to climb the mountain. If you let that fear control your life, you're not having a life, in my opinion. I control my fears. You learn to control your fears as you learn to experience life. A child can't control their fears. Daddy, will you look under my bed and make sure there's no monsters? I can't control my fears. Yes, son, I will look. You're all clear. No monsters. Okay. That's uncontrolled fear, right? When you can't control your fears, you can't close your eyes and go to sleep at night, right? When there's a knock on the door at 11 p.m., you can't go answer the door. You have to hide in a corner, curled up like in the fetal position. That's no quality of life, if you ask me. I choose to face that fear, go see who's at the door. Facing your fears does take some bravery, some common sense. I remember as a table games dealer, if you apply for a job as a blackjack dealer, they give you what they call an audition. They send you out there and they put you on a table with actual players, with actual cards, with actual money. And you can either do the job or you can't. We're going to find out right now. It's your audition, right? Some people can't handle that. Some people get too nervous. You got to control those fears if you want to get this job. You know, some people don't understand what they're getting into when they go to the dealer school and learn how to become a dealer. I know this stuff from my experience. Some people don't belong on the front line dealing with the public. They don't have the skills required. I saw an instance. This is, 40 years ago. Some guy, he's a dealer, and he goes into a pit that's not open, a group of table games that's not currently open. There are no players. There are no supervisors. There's no one in that pit except him. He's one lone guy. He walks over, he picks up the house phone, and he's talking on the phone. As he's talking on the phone, a tourist comes walking by the pit, and the tourist is asking a question. I don't know what the question was. Could have been, where are the restrooms? Or what time does this table open? Or who knows what? It could have been a million different questions, but it's just one of the customer base filing by, and he wants to ask him a question. And this dealer is on the phone. He looks at the tourist and he holds up one finger, like, just a minute. And then he turns his back to him. Well, the tourist takes a couple of steps and gets his attention again. Hey, sir, can you help me? The long story short here is the employee that's on the phone loses patience with the tourist that's bothering him, that's distracting him from his all-important phone call. He pulls the receiver down away from his head and he smashes it into the tourist's face. This employee had no business dealing with the public. Not the right man for the job. The right man for the job would have A, put down the phone, or B, told the customer, I'll help you in 1 minute. This is real important to me, right? or some combination thereof, right? The man that you want working for you, dealing with the public, does not haul off and hit your customer. All right. The man had no business being on the front line. He had no business being in that environment whatsoever. Was he a good dealer? I have no idea. Maybe he could function it. Maybe he could do the math. Maybe he could do the physical portion of handling the chips or the cards or whatever, but he could not deal with the people. He had no business being on the front line. Not everybody is capable of doing every job. I think I'll do fine at this, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'll stink at it. It's highly possible. I've never done this before. I'm not going to let my fears control me, and I'm not going to cower in the corner. I'm going to face my fears, and I'm going to present my show, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe you guys will finally populate the chat and end up giving me an ulcer. I have no idea. We'll see how it goes, right? I don't have answers to everybody's questions. Okay. I have a perspective. One man sitting on one end of his couch. That's all I can offer you. I'm going to try to be open. I'm going to try to be honest with people. But at the same time, I have to protect myself. I'm not using my real name. I'm Ghost mostly for this show. Okay. Hopefully, next month we'll have, better numbers than we got in the analytics for this month. All right. Hopefully we'll double them next month. Maybe we'll have 200 views and we'll be up to 12 subscribers. Maybe it'll go and populate further from there. I'm not advertising on all the social media outlets. And that's what everybody in this industry is telling me to do. Everybody. And I'm not doing it. I don't want to be on, Blue Sky or X or Instagram. I have no interest in those platforms whatsoever. I'm going to stay right here on YouTube, this platform. If you want to take a clip of this show that I'm doing on YouTube and you want to post it on Instagram, well, we'll work that stuff out down the line, but I'm not going to go get on Instagram. I'm not going to get on any of these other platforms. I'm going to stay right here on YouTube with this show, Afternoon Chat, in this time frame, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is what I control, right? I've made my decisions. I've put myself out there. I've opened this thing up. The chat room is open. Jump in here. Enable the chat on your TV and you'll be able to see it scroll by. Go to YouTube, download the Discord app, get in this room and let's talk about whatever's on your mind. Well, there could be things going on in the world I know nothing about. I've been sitting here for an hour and 40 minutes just talking to you guys. I haven't got anything else coming in, no other information coming into me other than the chat, and you guys ain't talking. So until you guys start speaking to me, the only thing I can do is sit here and talk to myself. We've got time. I'm not going anywhere. I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to do this for the 3 years, and we're 30 days in. Okay. We'll see how it goes. I don't have any agenda of what we need to talk about. That's going to be up to you guys. Of the 3 people that were in here, we've discussed, what was it? We discussed some substance abuse. We discussed some gardening, and they sang happy birthday to some guy's brother. Well, what's wrong with that? If you got somebody you want me to shout out, let's do it. I get nothing. I'm here for another 20 minutes, basically. So, I shouted out somebody the other day, my new friend Trina. And I'm trying to help her out, trying to help her get a job, something that she wants to do. She wants to change her career. She wants to choose a different path. So I thought I'd help her out. I offered to teach her how to deal blackjack or, table games. Well, she's interested in doing something else. She wants to help people with substance abuse, the people that are going through it. That's kind of tough for me. I got, family members that do jobs that I just could not do. I got a sister and a couple of nieces that are in the healthcare field. I cannot care for someone that's terminally ill. I would get too attached to them. And then when they passed, it would just destroy me. Right? I don't have that within me. But I got a sister that, she gives these people great care. She can handle it. I can't handle the death. Right? We all find our limitations in life, and you come up with your own set of rules, and you got to stay within your guidelines in order to stay sane. If I was taking care of terminally ill people, I'd need constant counseling. I'd be a basket case myself, probably. Not that anyone would want me around. I mean, I'm smoking, right? If you're terminally ill, why would you want to hang out with a smoker? I don't think you would. But yeah, I got family members that can do that stuff. Same thing with my father holding 4 journeyman's cards. I never got one, and I worked in the factory too. Okay, when I was young, but I never got a journeyman. I wasn't good. Okay, it was not the right field for me. I'm not sure what I'd have done if I hadn't found the casinos. I'd have probably went to a trade school. Well, the trade school, it's got it gets you out into the workforce faster than conventional education. You know, you go to a trade school, and with many of them, you can be working in the industry, whatever the trade school industry is, within a matter of months. It's like a fast track into the workforce, right? A lot of young people need that. They can't afford to lounge around, or they can't afford to go to college. Good college costs you a fortune nowadays. I wouldn't sign up for all these student loans that these people are doing. That's ridiculous. When I got student loans, they were cheap, the cheapest money you could borrow. I think I paid a half of 1% in interest on my student loan. That is not the case nowadays. Nowadays, they are financially raping these kids. It's tough. It's real tough. I don't know why they allowed the lending institutions to charge more. But they did. And I look at student loans now like a credit card. You rack up all this debt, it's just fine and dandy with the institution. They don't mind. They'll have you paying them for the rest of your life. They don't mind. No, I ain't signing up for that. No, not going to happen. No, the trade schools, they're, a fast track into the workforce. You go to a trade school, and as soon as possible, they all get you earning a paycheck, even if you're still going to the school. That's the way I got into the table games industry. I went to a dealer's school and applied for a Pell Grant, and the grant got me started, got me going. Then I had to pay off my student loans while I was working. I think within the first 5 years, something like that. But that was at a half of 1%. I was willing to sign up at that kind of interest rate. I wouldn't be willing to sign up at what these other people are paying. Seems outrageous to me. Hopefully, hopefully the minimum wage will go up, and the cost of living will come down, but I wouldn't hold your breath waiting on either one. I don't think they're going to happen. Cost of living has only gone up in my lifetime. I remember my first job was $1.10 an hour. Okay. Yeah. That was brutal. I could afford pizza. That was about it. No, nowadays I think minimum wage should be about $25 an hour. I don't know how anyone can survive on less than that. You sure as heck can't rent. The rents are outrageous. The cost of living in America is through the roof, if you ask me. Well, the tariffs right now are raising the cost of living even more. And it's never going to go back down. Even when the next president rolls back all the tariffs, they'll never lower the prices. Once they've got you paying those prices, they're not going to reduce them. Corporate America is too greedy. Corporate America demands that they make the money. If you're a CEO and your company is making $50 million a year profit when you hire on, you've got a limited amount of time to increase that profit margin. If you don't increase it, you're going to be gone. They'll get someone in that will. Most corporations that I know of want their profit to increase a minimum of 10% per year. So if you're a CEO that's able to perform, then your job is secure. But if you're not able to up those profits every year consistently, your job's hanging by a thread. Corporate America does not have a conscience. Corporate America does not care about the individual worker at any level. They figure everyone can be replaced. And eventually they do replace everyone. You go to any major corporation that's been around more than 50 years, and they've turned over their entire workforce a number of times. There's no one there that was there at the startup. That would be the rarity. That would be the oddball, right? Well, it's time to start thinking of a way to wind down the show here. So far, I guess what I want to try to tell people to do is just be kind to one another. Live and let live. Be nice to everybody, and eventually that niceness, that kindness will come back to you, and I believe it'll come back, tenfold. Be nice, be friendly, be helpful, be patient, be understanding. Okay? Be compassionate. I think most people are most of the time. Now, this is just my opinion, right? But I think most people are kind most of the time. I am. I try to be. Live and let live. Don't pick on that guy. Don't judge that guy. Don't try to micromanage that guy. Leave that guy alone. Let him be him. You focus on you. I said it in here before. I think the glass is half full. I think there are more good people out there than bad people. I'm always going to be able to be optimistic. I'm always going to be able to think that tomorrow could be better than today. It's the number of people that you're communicating with, and it's the way in which you're communicating that matters. Hopefully, with this show, I'll get to communicate with more people, and I'll find more people that believe the same way I do. That people are inherently good. We all have the same values. We all have the same principles. We all have the same ethics. I'm not planning to steal from anyone tomorrow. Are you? No. We're on the same page, whether we realize it or not. I'm not planning to attack anyone tomorrow. Are you? We're all on the same page. We're all in the same boat here. Most people are good. Can people have a bad day and need to lash out or yes, that's normal human behavior. But the guy that lashes out today isn't going to be lashing out every day. Because if you're lashing out, people are going to feel free to lash out at you. You know, it's the old what goes around comes around. Well, you know, put out some good vibes. Be nice. Live and let live. If a man wants to be Muslim, allow him. If a man wants to be gay, allow him. It's none of your business, right? It's none of your business. It's not your concern. Don't try to convert him to Christianity. Don't try to make him into a cisgender or a straight man. If he's not, let him be him. You focus on you and try to be patient. Try to see someone else's perspective. Try to be understanding and compassionate. I guarantee you, regardless of what anybody's government says, when the flood hits and we're all standing in chest high water and we need to get out of that water, that guy comes up with the boat. We don't care who he works for. We don't care what his religion is. We don't care what his race is. We don't care. We're not going to nitpick that guy. We're going to grab his hand and climb up into that boat with him. I don't care who he is. And the same token, if it's reversed and you're the man sitting in the boat and you're tooling by and your neighbor's in chest deep water, you're not going to say, oh, I can't help that guy out. I'm going to have to sit here and watch him drown. It's not in your being. You're going to offer your hand. You're going to pull him into your boat. You're going to get him to safety. You're going to do the right thing. And you can count on him to do the right thing as well. That's my point. There's more goodness out there than we see on our TVs. A lot more. With all that being said, let's wind this down for today. Afternoon chat will be back on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here. Come and join us and let's have a chat. Let's talk things out. With that, I'm Ghost Mostly, and let's call it a good week. All right. We'll see you on Monday.